Well, it was another angst-filled session, right? But the S&P eked out a slim gain while the Dow Jones Industrial Average, it was held back, but mostly because of two stocks, Boeing and Disney, down. After the close, you had some earnings out. 21st Century Fox revenues $7.56 billion, up 5%. Earnings of 54 cents, 15% better than a year ago. Whole Foods reported up slightly after the close, mostly because of a management shift, and Snap gets snapped. It is getting crushed on its first report since going public. Revenues were up almost 300%, but the company is hemorrhaging money. I tried to warn you on this one. By the way, another day and another record for the NASDAQ Composite, paced by those juggernaut tech names that have become unstoppable. These are the halcyon days for technology. Netflix, one of those names. You know, that stock was always under the gun, facing a high degree of doubt, but yet today, rather, closed at a new all-time high. And then there's NVIDIA, which actually took more than 15 years to get its act together and live up to the hype, including being named Company of the Year by Forbes. You see that magazine cover? January 2008. Back then, the shares are changing hands at $24, promptly dropped to $7 by November of 2008. You know, the stock has essentially traded sideways. It did for a long time until finally September of 2015. You see the chart. You see where it broke out. Well, it hasn't looked back. It's up more than 400% since then. Interesting, today, NVIDIA shares rallied in part to short covering, and that's the theme of 2017. Few people are discussing this. Massive short squeeze is sending stocks sky high. In fact, I got to tell you, a lot of the carnage, it keeps going. $4 billion is shorts of loss on Tesla alone. Some other winners this week include Chipotle. There's a 20% short on that. Ruger was a big winner yesterday. Cody, you guys remember Cody? 333% of the float is short. How do you do that? Wayfair is short at 459%. The stock keeps going up. Now, I think this short squeeze trend is going to continue. Here's what I like. Lumber liquidators and restoration hardware. I think they can crush the shorts and bring back huge money. I'm going to ask my friend now, Dr. Barton, what he likes. Dr., are you seeing this short squeeze? These are massive going on.
Yeah, this phenomena is happening over and over again, and it's you know, it's pretty simple. People get trapped. A stock people get excited buyers, and then the short sellers have to join the buyers and push it up further. So it's a really cool phenomenon to watch, especially if you're on the right side of it.
Sure. Now I'm going to ask you for a couple names, but first let's talk about the market overall.
You bet.
Investor confidence is eking up, according to the American Association for Individual Investors, nowhere near all-time highs. Does that worry you, though, when people become more bullish?
It is one of the more reliable contrary indicators for sure. But, you know, just 2 months ago, I was writing about how bearish people were getting right near all-time highs. This has been one of the most hated bulls of all time. You've said that. I've said that, Charles. And I think that the fact that people are getting a little more bullish is okay. If they get a lot more bullish, then we'll keep an eye on it.
The Trump economic agenda obviously is not happening as fast as a lot of people said it would. Of course, there's the artificial 100-day thing always was kind of goofy to me. But how critical is it that we get some of it through this year to justify this market?
Well, I think that he has to get some legislative wins. There's no doubt about that, because already, as you know, the market's a big discounting mechanism. It's already taken into account that he's going to be able to push some of this through, especially with a friendly Republican Congress, although they've been less friendly as of late, as we know. So I think that he has to get some wins, not necessarily the huge things, but they've got to make some progress on They have to make some progress on tax, and they have to make some progress on infrastructure, which should be the easier one. There'll be some bipartisan support for that.
Vulcan Materials, by the way, an infrastructure play,
Indeed.
had great numbers today and suggested that they see something coming from government. Let's talk about a couple of ideas from you.
Sure.
Now, I will add the caveat that short squeezes can be higher risk than normal, but there are a couple of names you think could be short squeezes as well.
Yeah, I think so. You know, one of the stocks I think that I think could be a good candidate coming up into earnings season is Nordstrom's. Now, that stock is sort of you know, retail. Everybody hates retail, and for good reason, because Amazon's killing all of them. But Nordstrom has a niche that they've done pretty well in, the little bit higher end, not as high end as Coach,
sure,
but a little bit higher end. And they also are getting some good traction with Nordstrom's Rack, their lower end product. So they've got good margins out of Nordstrom's, and they're doing some really good things with inventory control and other
Give me
stuff.
another name.
Yeah, so you know, I think one thing you got to look at is Baba. Alibaba is 12, 13% short interest still, despite the run-up we've had. They're going to be announcing
quietly hitting a new all-time high.
Hitting a new all-time high.
Because that was something of a disaster after the IPO.
It was, and I think they had some problems with high expectations. They keep growing. They are, people say they're the Amazon of China. I think maybe even have a chance to surpass Amazon in time.
All right. Well, I still say no matter what, they got a goofy CEO, but I won't hold it against them.